Welcome to my kingdom, my imaginary kingdom. My name is Daniel. Let's head into the dungeon. The dungeon is my art studio where I paint still lifes, my kingdom paintings. Here are a few examples of that work. I set these scenes up in front of me and paint from life, with no preliminary drawing or tracing of any kind.
Not one bit.
I simply begin drawing in paint. My intent is to satisfy a creative need, to display my imagination as much as my paint manipulation skills. These are artistic ideas I need to pursue. This means I give great consideration to the objects I choose to paint, so the setup process is of utmost importance. This video tells the story of one such setup. Often I have an idea of what I'm going for. I may have thought about it for months. That's not exactly the case here. I just had an idea about certain objects I wanted to work with.
But alas, none of those objects are a fruit.
No fruit bowl. My God, one of these days I'm gonna produce the greatest fruit bowl anyone's ever conceived. But not today. Early on in my Kingdom series, I produced a painting called The King is Dead. So I'm beginning this setup with the idea of revisiting that. The King is Dead again? Maybe The King is Dead 2, the sequel. Kings do die.
Oh, yeah. Don't oh yeah that.
Anywho, this will be a gathering of mourners. Assuming they cared for the king, that is. I mean, there are kings and there are kings.
You got that right.
You never know what you're gonna get. Well, that seems rather regal. Fitting for a private, behind-the-scenes get-together. A quiet, intimate affair. Here's the throne immortalized. Striking against the red, there will be many opportunities to play with reflected light. There's great value in experimentation. And of course, subconscious flow.
Subconscious flow.
And take your time.
We're looking for what is special.
Considering the quality of light on these different surfaces, how they interact and play off of one another.
Find what is special.
Okay, maybe it's a bit literal, but the title of that book is The King is Dead.
Well, bless his heart.
Since I have access to a wizard and his magical powers, I will share something from the future. When I represent that book in paint, I'll change the title to The King is Dead Again.
Well, that's just fascinating.
All the while, I'm trying to visualize the painting to be. Every decision folding in toward the best possible work of art. Did I mention that I have stuff everywhere? But it's not just that I have stuff everywhere, it's that I know what it is and I know where it is, so that I can use it for my mysterious purposes. Working and working, trying to create a work of art. I do this because I'm compelled to. It's difficult to explain if you're not familiar.
Is that right?
It's kinda like this. No painting equals a dirty bird. Dirty bird is an expression my aunts used to say. It stuck with me all my life. Anyway, you'll be hearing more about dirty birds. But the point is, I was wired with a compulsion. When I was a child, I would sit alone and make things out of whatever was on hand. Sometimes sort of a scene with construction paper, modeling clay and stuff. Trying to satisfy some internal need. That's what I'm doing here. But focused, hopefully to put something positive into the universe. You know? Something that wasn't there before? Sounds worthwhile to me. One might even say it's a noble endeavor.
You would
did say that. I did say that. Now excuse me while I get on with my noble endeavor. But hold on, I need to do a little math. Yeah. No, I'm just using the written word to develop my visual ideas. I mentioned I had certain objects that I wanted to work with here. That picture was top among them. Origami Dragons are the very foundation of the kingdom. A subject matter, a muse that is mine alone. With regards to painters, I'm the Origami Dragon guy. Feel free to spread that around. Write it on the bathroom wall. I feel like we need some small objects to complement what we already have. I can't even remember what's in here. So I sing you to sleep after the love. I don't have time for this.
So back on the hunt.
This fellow has starred in a painting before. He did such an exceptional job, he's getting another go. Fellow's sporting some big feet. The reflections in that checkerboard floor are going to be a handful to recreate and paint, but are certainly attainable with my stipple glazing technique. Subtlety and nuance are where my techniques shine. What do you know, there's another triangle shape. I don't necessarily begin intending that, but I end up here often. One of the interesting things about being an older artist is having the opportunity to look back and see tendencies. Hopefully good tendencies, but things that occur over and over in your work. The downside of age for me at this point is dealing with eye fatigue issues, and I do my best to manage that. I also have inherited a bit of a tremor. I do not have the steadiest hands in the world, as some have suggested.
Sure don't.
But fortunate for me, I guess, the tremor is primarily in my left hand, and I paint with my right. In fact, I have a substantial callus on my pinky knuckle from years of resting and dragging it across the panel surface. The point is to get it done, to bring the thunder, no matter what obstacles are in your way. Alas, I have not yet had a painting make itself.
Insert AI jokes.
As I've mentioned earlier, this setup began as revisiting the King is Dead idea, and it does. But as I went along, my focus started shifting toward this centralized knight figure, stoic and silent. And the idea that he's seen all this before. He's witnessed ultimate power being placed on an individual with wildly differing results. So he stands there quietly, as it is his duty, with a sort of cautious hope. I think many people can relate to feeling somewhat muffled, an observer of things around them. Imagine the things he's seen and heard. Beyond locked doors, down reverberating corridors, all the while holding his tongue, as that is his duty. Now his thoughts are split between the king that is lost and the child about to be crowned. Through it all, he stands resolute, silent, ready to give his life for his service, as did his father and his father's father. The title of this painting to be The Silent Service. This makes me want to paint. And when I do, rest assured I'm gonna put some mustard on it. If he weren't so silent, he would thank you all for viewing and for visiting the deep depths of my deepness.